You can't go to the South Side and have a conversation with a person and have them just be like, "Oh, what's your job? Oh, I drive a bus." You know, like that's never the conversation. It's always like, "Yeah, I'm a school teacher, but I got this vegan cookie thing on the side. You guys need to eat that. I know y'all Hollywood people like to be vegans. Well, I got that. I got that for you." Like, there's so many people. I'm one of them. Who would live in that? That was a gut punch.
Oh my God, Melanin Goddess that's before me. Hello. On this episode of Another Act, I talk with writer, actor, and creator Diallo Riddle about the return of his universally loved series, South Side, finally being an Emmy winner, and what aspirational comedy actually means. Diallo, out the gate, South Side was well received universally. What did that do for you as a creator to get all of these really positive reviews and just kind of immediate critical accolades?
Well, I'll tell you what it did right out the gate. It provided a sort of soul-crushing pressure to outdo season one. So when we came into the room to write season two, we were like, okay, 100% Rotten Tomatoes on season one. How can we screw this up? You know, I think artists always call it the sophomore slump, but that's what we wanted to avoid. But honestly, I'm kind of joking because we really came into this season knowing that we wanted to expand the universe of the show. Like, we wanted to have more Goodnight, more Turner, more Simon and Kay, more stories out of RTO, more stories outside of RTO. We just wanted more of everything. We started writing these episodes in 2019, and it is easy to forget that we were going to originally shoot it in the spring of 2020. And then, you know what happened. And then we didn't get back to shooting it until April 2021. And I just can't be more excited to finally say, you got more episodes of South Side to watch now. You can watch a whole new season with whole new jokes, but a lot of the same cast.
All right, what temperature y'all want?
Well, let me speak for everybody. 75.
Hurry up.
This is fake.
Congratulations, Picasso. You just discovered our new line of placebo thermostats. Gives employees the illusion of control.
But I want to go back a little bit because it's not that early success is a new thing to you guys. And when I say you guys, of course, I mean, you co-created this with your college buddy, Bashir, and both of you were Emmy-nominated creators of Slow Jams, The News, History of Rap, very viral segments for Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. What did some of those early successes teach you guys? And how did that maybe alter or enhance or switch up, you know, how you create this show?
Well, first off, I'm happy to finally say that, you know, our other show, Sherman Showcase, finally won an Emmy. So now we can say we've done an Emmy-winning show. We've been Emmy nominated for almost 10 years, and it was starting to burn on me a little bit. I was just like, we're like Susan Lucci. This is crazy. We've always built that writer's room to be like the lunch table when me and Bashir met at college. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a bunch of funny people. And also, I'm one of 6 kids. He's one of 8. We come from these big families. We're always trying to replicate that sort of like level of make me laugh that you get at the table when it's a whole bunch of Black people all related. And you're all fighting over the food, but you're also trying to fight over who's the funniest. That's what we try to replicate in our writer's room. And I think that comes through in the love that you see, you know, on the screen.
Hello, Simon James Incorporated, Simon James CEO speaking. What's our first hospital ride? Somebody's hurt? Yes. $80 plus gas. We'll be there fast like we're about to smash. Okay, so we need some help. I can see that now.
The writer's room is a little bit more diverse. There's at least 1 or 2 of them. One is from the suburbs and one is from the north side. And then everybody else is from the south side. And that's not true. Michael Blyden, our director, who really is like a third brain on this show, is actually from Detroit, but he brings that sort of like Midwestern thing to it. Yeah. And then there's me. I'm the last interloper. I'm technically, I was born and raised in Atlanta, but you know, everybody else is either Bashir's family or Bashir's friends from Chicago, the South Side of Chicago. So yes, there's no show that I think goes so far out of its way to try and be the super Chicago show. Like, we don't even make jokes about deep dish pizza. We make jokes about Pequods versus Illuminatis. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're from Chicago, you know that those are 2 very different types of deep dish. So I think it's very important. You know, we'll make a joke about Humboldt Park or Roscoe Village or Lincoln Park, or like we Libertyville. We go deep. We go deep. We make jokes about, you know, Italian Fiesta. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like that's part of the fun of making the show, is to make it very authentic.
Brother, what's your name?
J-Mo?
What are you, 47 years old?
29 years old.
No, you see what's happening here? Blacks are starting to crack.
Make money, money, make money,
The life of a foot model was cruel and unusual.
Those toes.
At times I do miss it. You age out of it. Furniture is forever.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to start a yawn Armageddon. I have not been sleeping well.
Have you tried a weighted blanket? It's like two dudes holding you down while you sleep. Stacy, blink once if you're in trouble. Blink 3 times if you're just a freak.
You know, what made you guys feel like Chicago was such like ripe terrain, and specifically Southside Chicago was so ripe to kind of play in creatively?
It kind of stems from the fact that we spent 4 years developing a show about Atlanta, my hometown, at HBO.
Yes.
But you got to realize we spent that time developing. There was no show on. Donald Glover's show didn't exist yet.
Right.
So when we were doing that, we were constantly having to tell executives, look, there's something to be said about Atlanta. It's a unique place. You've got a diversity of Black people there that we don't see on other TV shows. Let us do this show. And eventually they said yes, but then they rescinded the yes and then went away. So that was really hard. That was a gut punch. But then Bashir was like, I want to do a show in my hometown. And we had spent 4 years trying to do Atlanta. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because the thing is that Atlanta and Chicago got a lot in common. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like more than even like, I always felt like there 4 different types of hoods, but they all have a lot in common. So whether you're from like, you know, the hoods that come in the tall building size, like New York, New Jersey, I count Boston in that, sort of like the Texas, Atlanta Southern hoods, or like, you know, the West Coast hoods, those look different. There's a type of hood, a sort of neighborhood that is specific to Atlanta and Chicago. By the way, first off, everybody in Chicago sounds kind of like they could be from Atlanta or Mississippi. Like that's what people don't talk about. Like that black accent is strong, and we all know it. But on top of that, yeah, the homes look different in Chicago. They almost look like someone built brownstones in Atlanta. You know, like the way that they're like very like vertical. But at the end of the day, like they were very sort of like similar places. So like I said, we always wanted to do that show in Atlanta. We didn't get the chance. There might be a chance in the future. But when we transitioned to Chicago, we didn't even have to reinvent all the storylines. There's one episode this season that is, you know, kind of taken largely from an idea that we were going to do for our Atlanta show. It's based around the idea that these neighborhoods usually have one amazingly famous party promoter, you know. So in episode 6, we deal with what happens in a day in the life in the most popular #1 Chicago party promoter. You know, because again, I know what that is growing up in Atlanta, and I think a lot of our viewers do. So whether you're from the South Bronx, South Philly, South Central, you know, Southwest Atlanta,
Detroit.
South Side, you kind of know, yeah.
Yes.
Born and raised in South Detroit.
Oh shit! Ow! I'm waiting to phantom stop! If I die, tell your mom she's wasting her talent at the post office.
What?
Sitting behind the desk with all that ass.
You got a concussion?
Exactly.
Yeah, apparently not a place.
Toledo. It's Toledo.
But I will say our people clearly like to live south of places, and I think that's why that keeps coming up time after time.
That works. And you know, at the time that you guys were creating this show in Chicago, you know, like we were just saying, Chicago doesn't always have like the best headlines, but this show really puts a face, I think, on.
Listen, they use Chicago like a football. They'll just always be like, oh, Chicago crime, Chicago corruption. You know, like it's a way to bash Black people. It's a way to bash Barack Obama because he was from Chicago. Like we see through the dog whistles or whatever that is. But you know, like if you actually talk to people from Chicago, they're not going to lie to you and say like, oh, it's all perfect and magical. But they're also going to say, if you ask them, do they love it? People from Chicago, much like people from some of these other places, they love where they're from. And why is that? Because there are people there who make them laugh. There are people there who they love. And that's the Chicago that we wanted to show. That's why we made it a comedy. It's so important to me to always say that the first time I got into an Uber and somebody asked me about the shows, this Uber driver was like, I heard you making a comedy about the South Side of Chicago. And he had a little bit of aggression in his voice. And I thought, oh no, now I'm going to have to, you know, give him 1 star and fight my way out of this vehicle. But he was actually happy. He was like, I'm so happy to hear that because people think it's all gun violence down here. And that who would live in that? Who would continue to raise children in that? You know what I mean? Like, so it's so important to us that we give people a full picture.
Honestly, I think probably my favorite episode from that first season was was the hair weave episode. It was very relatable. It was very relatable. And it really just kind of showed me that this was going to be a series that was about characters and people.
It's about characters. It's about a diversity of characters because, I love that episode too, written by Chandra Russell, who plays Officer Turner. We have so many outstanding women, Black women, in our writer room, and I think it comes through in the storylines. And I think you're going to see it even more this season because I feel like the ladies of South Side come out even bigger this season. Quite frankly, we had a couple episodes last season that I feel like they got to shine. I feel like they get to shine even more this season because I don't like it when the Black community is portrayed as one thing. Yeah. And one thing that somebody said just today that I really thanked them because it's exactly how there aren't even I'm going to use her term, all the hood chicks on our show are not the same, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we're putting, we're not putting hood chick against bougie. That's like sitcom 101. No, I'm saying like everybody's different. Everybody's a unique, fully fleshed out character. We're very proud of that. That is definitely something we sought out to do and strive to do with this show.
And I feel like there's a link to this next question I was going to ask you is that I've heard you guys describe this show is like aspirational comedy. And I was going to ask you what that means.
You can't go to the South Side and have a conversation with a person and have them just be like, oh, what's your job? Oh, I drive a bus. Like that's never the conversation. It's always like, yeah, I'm a school teacher, but I got this vegan cookie thing on the side. You guys need to eat that. I know y'all Hollywood people like to be vegans. Well, I got that. I got that for you. Like there's so many people. I'm one of them. I mean, like I write TV, I act. We got to direct an episode this season, and yet I can't let the DJ in me go. And my wife really wants it to go away, but like I have a side hustle, and it is as a DJ and as a music producer. So I feel like everybody has a hustle. So in that sense, we want to speak to that aspiration, that sort of like goals driven. Like I'm a hustler. I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna make it happen for me, even if not everything is handed to me. In the trailer for season 2, we have that line that I love so much where RTO has invented a line of placebo thermostats to keep in your home to give either your children or your employees the sense of control. Like that's how evil we use RTO as almost like our stand-in for evil corporations. So Q is not Jeff Bezos, and I don't know Jeff Bezos, so I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but like, we all know that they try to give us the illusion of more control than we have. So there you go.
Diallo, so much of your personal story is really about creating your own path in particular, and specifically, obviously, in what you've done in Hollywood. At what point did you start to realize that was really the path that you and maybe even Bashir in some ways should take, as opposed to something that maybe is a more traditional path to success in this time?
I think we stumbled into it. I mean, we came along at a time when there was YouTube. I don't know what we would have done. Maybe before YouTube, we would have been like Gordon Parks and like gone out and shot our own stuff, like, because he shot Shaft, I believe. I mean, like, just the idea of being an indie filmmaker might have been our path. But I think that even though we stumbled into it, we quickly understood that we had a certain level of freedom that we wouldn't have had if we had just written a script and gotten it in the right hands and they read it and then they brought us into their room. I mean, technically we have been the baby writers in rooms in the past. That to me, that traditional route, much harder and a lot more political. I think if you can actually just shoot it yourself and edit yourself and put it out there, even if it's just on YouTube or it's a web series, it's just a stronger way to go. You're not asking for anybody's help. You're shooting it, you're writing it, so you're getting better, you're getting your practice, you're getting your 10,000 hours. That to me is how you can truly be in charge of your destiny and not have to play all the political games and go to all the parties and schmooze. Sometimes I like that stuff and sometimes I absolutely can't stand it, which is why I like to be a DJ, because I can be at a party setting, but I don't have to talk to anybody. I can just play music.
What's been the most satisfactory moments on your journey so far?
Honestly, writing Slow Jam the News for Barack Obama was great. Ideas that popped up in this brain went into my laptop, and then before I knew it, a president that I respected was saying them out of his mouth. Like that felt like magic and sort of like once in a lifetime kind of stuff. Honestly, working with Marlon Wayans on Marlon was fantastic. I'm still close with him and Brisha. In essence, we have a text thread where we text each other literally almost every day. that's been a highlight. And then launching these shows has been a highlight because I still feel there's something very special and different about Southside and Sherman Showcase. And the last one I'd say, looking towards the future, is the fact that we do have this overall deal with Warner Brothers, the studio now, where we get to develop not only our ideas, but also, intellectual properties such as we're working on a Stephen King project. We're working on, 2 projects for DC Comics, which, the 14-year-old nerd in me is absolutely excited to be working in the world of comic books. You got Black Panther on that wall right behind you. I mean, we can contribute to the world of superheroes, our own sense of humor, as well as our own sense of what we think would make just a really cool show.
I love all of that. I was going to ask what was next for you, but next sounds like there's going to be no sleep because you have a lot of projects on your.
I got a lot of children too. I got 3 kids, and we got a COVID dog, and so now we got a 100-pound dog running around the house, and we're moving. That's why there's not that much on the wall right now. I apologize. This wall will have some artwork shortly. There's a lot going on always, but I figured that it took a long time to get here, so I'm going to enjoy it.
I love all of that. It is always great talking to you, Diallo. Continued success.
Same to you, Miss Carter.